Hey there, welcome back to Low Def Media. I am Mike, and today I have another, I don't want to say camera review, but I will say that this is a camera discussion because well, I've reviewed this camera in the past, and I'm one of the, I, I, I don't want to say the only advocates for this camera, but I will say that I am one of probably the most enthusiastic supporters for this camera because it's older. This is the Sony, it's the CX405. It is the camcorder. It's called a HandyCam. And you've probably seen these in the past. This particular model is about 5 years old. And so in today's video, we're going to talk about why this camera is still relevant in 2022. Okay, so why is this camera still relevant in 2022 with the flood of cameras that are now accessible and available to content creators, filmographers, photographers out there? Why go back to something that's so old? I know what you're thinking. You could get an action camera for probably around the same price as this camcorder, and you would be correct. The Akaso Brave 7LE is a camera that I used to own. Action cam, shoots 4K, does do slow motion when you reduce the resolution down to 1080. It's a very solid camera, very small, easy to use. But you're talking about an action camera that's about this big, okay? And the microphones are good, similar to this one, but what I would say is that the quality wasn't always dependable. The image quality, that is. I would take a camera like that out, and the image was always hit or miss. I have other cameras that are similar that are around that price point. Same thing, they all have their little quirks. This particular camera is rock solid. And that's why I believe that it's still prevalent in 2022. And I've narrowed it down to three things. And as I'm talking, we're going to show some footage from today. I went hiking. I took the camera with me. It's probably the first time I've ever taken it in an action cam kind of setup where I'm trying to catch myself doing something. Usually I use this camera if I'm going to film family events or if I'm going to go out and I just want something quick and easy. And that's point number one. Sony knows where this camera fits in the camera landscape, and it sticks to its strengths. It knows what it is. It's not great at anything, but it's good at a lot of things. If you want a camera that's got better resolution, well, you're going to pay more money. And then you've got all kinds of other things to worry about when it comes to higher resolution cameras. Case in point, and I'll say my GoPro. Now, GoPro 10 does shoot at I think it's 5.7 megapixels. No, that's wrong. It shoots at 5.7K and it has about a 12 megapixel sensor. There we go. Now, it is a quick and easy camera to use, but it doesn't have a great zoom. And so when you do zoom with it, if you look at any review, that's the one weakness that they say, is you can't really zoom because you're not using an actual lens to zoom, you're using digital zoom, and all it's doing is cropping in on the picture more, and so it becomes very pixelated. And so with a camera like this, you have 60 times zoom built into the lens. And so that can be very convenient, especially for sporting events when you're out in the stands and you want to get in on the action. This also has a directional microphone. I've never tried it, but it does have one that as you're zooming in, it's focusing on the sound of that object you're focusing on, and not necessarily the sound that's around you, the photographer slash videographer. So the first point I'd like to make is that this camera knows its strengths, knows its weaknesses, knows where it fits in the landscape, and it's perfectly happy there. Now the second thing, price. It's very economical. This particular camera does a lot of different things and it comes in under $200. Now that GoPro we talked about earlier doesn't come anywhere close to $200. You would have to buy previous iterations. And I have a Sony point and shoot camera that's over the 350 mark, and it takes the same type video this does, 1080p, 30 frames a second, has the same codec. And so while this one doesn't take great pictures, I'm going to show you some pictures as we're talking because it's not as bad as you think for a 9 megapixel camera for the sensor. Is it great? No. And it's not meant to be great. This is not a photography camera. This is for getting video. And that part it does really well. And that brings me to my third point. It's just easy. It works. You flip open the side door, which reveals the LCD screen, and it's on. You're ready to start recording. Now, you want to make sure that you open the lens, but it gives you a cool little error here that tells you, you can't record anything until you open up your lens cap. And then this rotates around. A lot of high-end cameras I could name don't have a fully articulating screen. And so you can't even see yourself when you're doing a vlog, something like this here. Now, what camera am I using, you're asking? Well, today I decided to use my iPhone 13 mini. I've got it working with this Lewinner lapel microphone. And I'm also using Filmic Pro with my iWatch, and so my Apple Watch, so that I can see what it is I'm doing, because I'm using the rear-facing camera and not the front-facing camera. So hopefully you're finding these results pleasing to the optical and auditory receptors. So let's get back to the camera. I'm really pleased with this camera. It was a really good investment. For $200, I get the shots that I want. It's really small, it's convenient, easy to take with me. And I usually pack this. If I'm going somewhere on a trip, I always take this camera, even if I have other high-end cameras with me, just because I know, one, I'm not gonna look ridiculous out and about filming with this. That's what people expect when they see a camera like this. But when you take a DSLR or a mirrorless camera with your microphone on the top, you start to stand out in a crowd. You take your GoPro to do some of the similar things, and it's okay, but trying to connect a microphone to a GoPro is a tad arduous. You got to get the adapter for it, and then the mic goes on the side. Now it gets a little bigger, but I'm very pleased with the microphones that are here, and they record audio very, I don't want to say very well, but at an acceptable level, good enough for YouTube, Instagram, social media, and for sharing with family. And that's really what most of us are going to do. And so to kind of sum it all up, if you're looking for a camera that you can take with you on family outings or record life events, I would highly encourage you to look at the Sony CX405, because it does so much at such a small price. And did I mention you can even use this as a webcam? Now, granted, it does downgrade your resolution to 720 when you do that, but most webcams that you have on your PCs or your laptops, they're probably 720, but this at least has a zoom set on it. It's going to give you a much better image, and the microphone is a ton better than the one that's built into your computer. So a lot of advantages, very low cost point. So again, if you're looking for a video camera and you're tired of using your phone just because you're clogging up your memory and it's hard to keep up with all the stuff that goes to the cloud and all that stuff, highly encourage you to go out and check out this Sony. Well, that's all I've got for you today. Again, this is Mike, Low Def Media. And if you like what you saw here today, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. And if this is the kind of content that you like to see, go ahead and become a subscriber. Hit that little notification bell so that when the next video drops, you'll be notified so you can make sure to watch it first. Thanks a lot for tuning in today. We will see you in the next one.